Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Olakumbi, and in today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to make that lovely kaftan that you saw at the beginning of the video. So if you are interested in this kind of tutorial, please stick around and make sure you watch till the end. To all my subscribers, I just want to appreciate you so much for sticking with me, and anyone that is just joining us, please, if you have not subscribed, make sure you subscribe before the end of this tutorial. Okay, so to get started, this is the fabric we're going to use, and I will be combining it with this fabric. Alright, so this is about two and a half yards of fabric, but I will not be using everything. So the measurements you'll be needing are your center back to your sleeve length measurement and your total length measurement. Okay, for my center back to sleeve measurement, I'll be using 19.5 inches. Okay, so whatever your measurement is, just multiply it by 2. So with that I have 39 inches. So I've already folded my fabric into 2. This is a Duchess matte fabric, so I folded it into 2, and this is it, 39 inches. Okay, so when you are done folding it into 2, you fold it again, but this time we are going to fold it on bias. You see what I'm doing? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it out. Alright, I'm going to cut it out at this point, at that point, and also at the end. I'll straighten it up at the end before cutting. So let me straighten it at the end first of all. So you straighten it out this way. When you're done, you take your ruler and make sure you make it a straight line. You can see what I'm doing. This way. Okay, so we're going to cut it out. We're going to cut it out from that point and come all the way down. So this is our center back, and after we cut it, we're going to have the center front here. Okay, but please, when you're measuring your fabric, make sure you add the seam allowance and all to the length of your fabric so that you don't fall short. The next thing we're going to do is to cut it out. Okay, so this is going to be our shoulder line right here. Okay, so this is our fabric. This is what we're going to be using. Okay, so this is going to be our center front, because we're not going to have any seams at the sides or at the back, just in front. So this is going to be the center front. Okay, and this is going to be the center back. These ones are going to be at the sides. All right, so that's what we have for now. So the next thing is to impute the neckline. Make sure you adjust your fabric. Okay, the width of the neck I'll be using is 3 inches. So I'll mark 3 inches here. Okay, then I'll go down by an inch. I'll go down by an inch and I'll mark that here. Okay, so I'll just curve it. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is going to be our back neckline. So I'll cut it out. Okay, so this is the back neckline. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut the front neckline. Alright, now the kind of neckline we're going to use for the front is a bit different from the back. It's going to have like a V-neck. Remember I said we're going to combine these two together. So because we're going to combine this one for the collar, the neckline, what we're going to do now is to open our fabric up. This is going to be the front and this is the back. Okay, like I told you, this is the center back and this is the center front. So the first thing I want to do before I remove it is to notch the center back. Okay, so I have notched that. I'll open it up, then I'll measure 8 inches downwards. I'll measure 8 inches. Remember, we remove 1 inch from this point. Okay, so I'll come down to 8 inches and mark it here and extend it this way. Okay, so after extending it, what I'm going to do next is to measure 2 inches all the way down. Okay, 2 inches all the way down. I'll mark 2 inches all the way down. From this point, 2 inches, I'll mark it. Then I'll connect all the points together when I'm done. Make sure when you fold your fabric, it must be wrong side facing out, right side facing each other inside. Okay, the reason why I cut the bottom the way I slanted it and cut it is because I want the bottom to be straight. You know, because of the kind of design I'm using on this kaftan, I want the end of the kaftan to be straight. All right, so now that I have done that, next thing I'm going to do is to take my ruler from the edge of the neck width here. I'm going to connect it to this point here. Remember, we got 8 inches here, so I'll connect it this way. Okay, I hope you can see what I've done here. Then I'll connect it all the way down. So now that I'm done with this, the next thing I'm going to do is to cut it out. So the next thing I'm going to do is to join it at the shoulder. Okay, so remember I said that this is the center front, so I just want to show you what it looks like. So I'll open it up. This is the back neckline, so I'll open the fabric up. Okay guys, so this is what I was trying to explain to you. Okay, so I have folded my fabric. Alright, this is the center back. Remember, we cut the front from the shoulder area. So when you take it to the machine now, you're going to sew it up at the shoulder line. Okay, and this is the part we cut out, and we're going to attach this when we prepared it together. Okay, so I told you that I wanted the bottom to be straight. That's why I slanted it, because I need this a straight bottom, and so now we have a straight bottom. I hope you understand what I've done so far. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is to demarcate the sleeve opening. Okay, so for the sleeve opening, make sure you measure your round sleeve length. So that will be about 12 inches. 12 inches divided by 2 will be 6. So from this point here to here, I'll leave 6 inches. Alright? So I'll leave 6 inches and I'll mark it here. So I'm going to notch this point. I'll do the same also for that place. Now we're going to put the sleeve opening on the shoulder line, okay, not on the side, not on the side, okay, on the shoulder line. So I'm going to stitch all the way from the neck width here all the way to this point where I've marked. I'll do the same thing for that point also. So I'll leave the opening here. After I have left the opening here, let me show you what I'm going to do. So now that I have this point here, I'll notch it. Okay, I'll notch it. Then I'll take it to my machine also. After I have stitch it up to this point, then I'm going to fold it in. Okay, I hope you understand what I've just done. So I'll fold it in at this point where I've notched. Okay, this point and this point, I'll fold it in. Okay, so just fold it in by, let's say, half an inch to an inch, depends on you. Okay, I'll do the same thing at that side too. Okay guys, I just wanted to show you what I've done so that you understand it very clearly. So this is the shoulder. I've joined the first shoulder, okay? So I stopped at this point here, 6 inches away from here. Remember, this is the shoulder line, and I said we are leaving the sleeve opening here, okay? So I'll take it in when I'm done. So this is for this. So I want to demonstrate the other part. Remember, this is the midpoint of the back neckline, okay? Remember, I notched it. So what you do is that you grab the front, this tip, okay, the tip of it, you make it to touch this point here. All right, so this is how you are going to do it. You are going to stitch it half an inch all the way to this point that we marked. Remember the 6 inches sleeve opening here, okay? So that's what I'm going to do. After notching, you fold it in. Okay guys, so this is what it looks like. The next thing we're going to do is to make the strips that we're going to use for the collar around the neck all the way to the hem. But before we do that, we have to know the measurement we're going to need to cut the strips, okay? So this is our fabric. Remember, this is the shoulder line, this is the sleeve opening, this is the center back. So what we're going to do now is to take it from the center back. We're going to measure all the way down to the hem. So I start measuring from here. We have about 70 inches, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to multiply that 70 by 2. That is going to be 140 all the way around. And remember, this fabric is by 60. Okay, and it's just a yard of fabric I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about 3 strips so that we can get the full round measurement, because we're going to take the strip all the way around. Okay, remember, this is the center back, so it's going to come this way all the way to the hem as we measured it now, and also this way. Okay, so we need to multiply 70 times 2. That will give us 140 inches. You can add about 4 inches extra to it. 4 inches extra will be fine. So that's 144. So what I'll do is I'll cut about 3 strips of this fabric. that we're going to use. Okay, so now that we have the full measurement that we're going to use, 144 inches, I'll just put this one aside. Remember that we cut out 2 inches width of the front, the center front. We cut out 2 inches width. Okay, so to be able to achieve that 2 inches back to the fabric, what we're going to measure out now is 5 inches. Okay, the reason why we're measuring 5 inches is because it's going to be folded into 2, and 5 divided by 2 will be 2.5. Now we're going to use half inch that is at the side to join it to the main dress. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is to cut out 5 inches width of fabric by 60. Okay, so I'll just measure 5 inches and mark it. Or what I'll prefer to do right now is to iron my stay on it, so that, because this is a certain kind of fabric and is, you know, it keeps moving here and there, so I'll just iron my gum stay and cut it out. I'm done cutting out the strips. I've also attached all of them together to form my 5 inches by 144. Okay, after that, on the wrong side I attach my gum stay, so you can see it. I attached it all the way. Then I went ahead to divide the strip into 2. That will be 2.5 inches, and I ruled a straight line from one end to the other. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to stitch the strip together. You will take the center of your strip, you fold the whole length into 2. After folding it into 2 this way, the next thing we're going to do is to sew it all the way down. Okay, we're going to sew it all the way down, but not all the way down to the place where the slit stops, because it's going to have a slit in front, an opening at the hem in front. Okay, so you're going to stop at the top of that slit. So, but also when you fold your strip, you are going to leave space also for where the head is going to pass through. So remember that part that we marked 8 inches when we measured the V collar in front, V neck in front. Let me grab my fabric. Okay, so this is the fabric. This is the center back and this is the front. Remember that point where we marked the V neck, okay, and we measured it to 8 inches. Okay, so that at that point, that is where we're going to leave the opening. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is to grab my strip. I told you to fold it into 2. So take the center of that strip, attach it to the center back like this. So I'll just use a pin to hold it down for now. Okay, so from that center of your strip, you would use it to measure and get to that point where we marked the 8 inches. Okay, so this is the 8 inches here. You can see it. So what you're going to do is to mark this point here on the strip. You're going to mark this point. Okay, I'll measure it once again so that I'll have an accurate measurement. So just at this point here, I'll grab my chalk and I'll mark it. Okay, so from that point also I'll start again. I'm going to take it all the way down. Okay, but before I do that, I think the first thing I'm going to do before I do that is to mark out where I want the slit to stop on the fabric. So I want the slit to stop at about 20 inches from the hem. Okay, so this is the hem. This is the hem of my dress. So I'll measure 20 inches from that point and mark. I want to mark it out clearly, alright? So you keep going down. So you see, this is where it stops at this point. So I'm going to mark it as well. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, at that point where I marked, at this point where I marked, I'll just take my ruler and just make a straight line like this. Also, at the point where I marked, here, I hope it's on the same strip. Let me see. Okay, make sure it's on the same strip, the same place where you marked. Then I'll make a straight line as well. Okay, so now after doing that, the next thing you're going to do is to fold it at that midpoint of your strip. Then right side facing right side. Just pin it in place. Okay, so once you have pinned it together like this and everything is in place, the next thing you're going to do is to start stitching from this point. Okay, so you stitch from this point all the way. Make sure right side is facing right side, all the way to this point where you made for the slit. All right, I hope you understand what I'm doing, so that there will be an opening at the bottom of the dress. Okay, so it depends on how you want it. You can use 20, 19, 22. It depends on what you want, so just take whatever is fine for you. All right, so now I'm going to take it to my machine, run my stitch this way all the way till I get to this point. Then I'll bring it back to show you the next thing to do. So this is what it looks like after stitching it. So from this point here, remember we started from this point here and we stitched all the way to this point above the slit. Okay, so to make our collar now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the strip from the center back, fold it into two, the facing touching each other. You see what I'm doing? You see what I'm doing? Okay, so you grab both pieces this way. For the same, do the same at the other side as well. So after you do this, you iron it flat. This is what the collar looks like after ironing. You can see it has already formed. So I've ironed it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to attach it to our kaftan. So this is the kaftan. So it's best you always start from the center back. So what you do is you attach, see the way I'm holding it, okay? You attach the back side from the center back of the collar. Make sure you get the center. You attach it to touch the center back on the right side of your kaftan, okay? So this is what I'm doing. So this is it, this way. So this point, I'll make it to touch this point, okay? So I'll do it like this. You can see what I've done. I use my pin. Alright, so you keep going down. Take your pin, secure it. Okay, so you're going to do the same also for the other side. You take it round. Until you get to the hem. So after you're done pinning it, you take it to your machine and stitch over it using 1/2 inch all the way till you get to the hem, okay? So you do it round, but I'll advise that you start from the center back, okay? Start from the center back and start to stitch. Finish it at one side, then start again from the center back. Stitch until you get to the other side. You can see, attached it on both sides, through the collar at the back, all the way to the hem. See? So we're going to take in about 1 inch or 1/2 inch at the hem, okay? We'll take it in, then we'll weave also to finish the edges so that it doesn't feel and it makes it look neat, okay? So you're going to weave the edges to finish it up. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. Let me turn it the other way so that we can see what it looks like. Wow, this really came out so nice. It really came out nice. I really love it. You can see. So I'll iron it, and that's just it. So guys, if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up, share to your family and friends, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button, okay? Hit that subscribe button so that anytime I post new videos, you'll be the first, and put on your notification bell so that you'll be the first to receive any video that I put up, okay? So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Stay blessed. Bye.